everything that they've done seems to be designed to, I mean, what did they expect for people to do if you lock everybody up and destroy their business? They were just going to take it lying down? I mean, of course not. People are going to be screaming in the streets. I don't know. I mean, because in America, it just ended up being all this fake, this AstroTurf, BLM, these paid fake rioters,
Yeah.
And then there's the whole other angle that we really need to talk about, which is preparing for this, federal government war against Trump supporters that they call white supremacists and domestic terrorists. And so I think we need to do better than we need to have our own internet infrastructure and like hardware, because everyone, we saw what Amazon did to Parler. It's leaving YouTube and getting your own thing like you've done, John. That's one level, but it's like you can still get deplatformed from the ISP level, from the DNS level, and then from the server, from the hosting level. And that's what we need to start getting real about this. And well, the one person who really knows all about this is Alex Jones. Like, he built his own infrastructure. He should probably expand that.
He's done a lot of other things too.
Yeah, but I mean, he should
interject.
I think he can make more money than with nutrition supplements. Like, if he started to be the next tech guy for people who don't want to be censored anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Robert David Steele talked about, I'm not a technological savvy person, but kind of rewriting the code, if you will, that makes the internet work, that we're under the control of code that was written by, Microsoft and Google and all these sorts of folks. And we can just, oversimplifying it, start anew and have our own.
I have friends that are working on, a system that there's no files. It's all done with AI, and there's no more files anymore. And it's completely unhackable, unencryptable, decryptable, and that's,
mm-hmm. I
have friends that want to roll that out in 18 months.
I want to pedal backwards because I've been patiently listening to a really important discussion, and I would like to pedal back and talk about the threat of China. Obviously, China's a threat. We know that. They're here. They've been here. They're a threat to the world. But I do believe, since they control a lot of our media, that we will start to see a lot of increasing threats and rhetoric, but simply in the media. But to James's point, we haven't seen one action actually taken that goes to war with Taiwan. I think the most important thing is a clock. There's a clock ticking. That clock is ticking right now, because all the points that you've raised, Alexandra, are real, serious, present dangers and threats to our life. And, they're rushing out with the vaccinations. They're going to get COVID 2021 soon and line everybody back up for double doses and complete fourth level lockdown. And I mean, this is what we know, what's on the agenda, and it's not pretty. And to the attack against us, freedom, law-abiding, freedom-loving Trump supporters. All of these dangers are real. They're happening, and they're increasing hour by hour. 30 executive orders in 5 days, where the predecessors wrote maybe 3, 4, or 5 in the first couple of weeks. So we know what they're doing. We know what their ultimate agenda is. But the key piece here that I think is key is the fact that Biden didn't get all the keys to the castle. Now, what does that tell us? Besides, I know he's got a lot of power right now, or seemingly, and I get all that, but the fact that he didn't get the keys to the castle tells us what? The military's in control to some extent. They are. And so that is the light at the end of the tunnel, as I see it, because although there are factions that are challenging the military, I believe General Flynn's confidence. I believe in Lynn Wood's statements. I believe in what I see happening in and around Washington. You've been gone for a bit, Alexander, but we've been connecting a lot of dots on this show over the last couple of short weeks, certainly the last several days, on facts, analysis, and anomalies. But the fact that they did not get the keys to the castle, which, by the way, was told to me by Juan O'Savin before Biden even got inaugurated or won the inauguration. I was told on the phone that Biden will be inaugurated, and that was a setback for me. And I said, well, then we've lost the battle because he's got the military. We can't win. And he said, don't put this on your show yet, but you'll find out. He's not going to get all the keys to the castle. And of course, now we have found that out later on. Even Politico did the story on it. So that's the glimmer of hope in the doom and gloom of the day. And it definitely is a doom and gloom situation, but there's more going on than meets the eye. And I think, James, you uttered some words that I had stated a couple of weeks ago when we had General McInerney and General Valley on the show a few times, and we had them together a couple of times. And when I was listening to their analysis of things, and they hold back certain pieces of information for obvious reasons. And I know they're not actively serving, but they're very well connected. And these gentlemen have a lot of experience. And they're busy fighting the fight right now. But you're right, James. What I got from one of those shows was we may have the military against the military. And that's probably to an extent what's happening right now behind the scenes. Let's hope it doesn't become a kinetic issue. But, so it's an interesting discussion we're having, and people do need to be prepared, hope and pray for the best, but plan for the worst, right? I mean, you've got to survive. We're Americans. We're not going to lay down and have our country taken away from us. So, and we've done a lot of advice, a lot of places we've directed our viewers. We've put up the documents on how you can legally opt out of the vaccination, what to say, what not to say. In fact, I'll send that out to all those that have subscribed free or premium this week, just to make sure you have it. We have the document put up by Lieutenant Scott Bennett, brilliant piece of proactive work we can do legally to say no to unlawful orders under this administration. But listen, at the end of the day, and then, of course, we have to have extra cash and ammunition and guns and food and medicines and a plan B and surrounding ourselves with like-minded people and so forth and so on. But at the end of the day, this is the military. This is a covert military operation. It's going to be won by the military, in my opinion. And we need to be smart. We need to be cool. We need to not break the laws. We need to not get sucked into false flag agendas that the deep state's going to lure us out into and so forth, and spin it like they did at the Capitol recently. But, dangerous time. And this is the realist in me brings me to a point of optimism here. And we'll turn it over to each of you. Thanks for listening. But the realist in me says, well, when you connect the dots on all the things we've connected the dots on, I don't think we know, the three of us know, we can't let this go on for many more months. It can't happen. And so I believe it will not. I believe their clock is ticking and it's coming to a head soon. And it's going to be, as they've stated the words throughout the Q world for a couple of 3 years, biblical. And I believe these changes are coming. Doesn't mean we just sit around, but it's a military operation, folks. It's covert. It's going to be overt soon. Anyway, those are my views on all the things that we've been discussing here. Anybody care to weigh in or tackle a new aspect of this?
Well, I think that this point about the military being divided is very interesting. We have the upper brass being just as compromised as all the courts, the Supreme Courts, the state courts, federal courts, being just as compromised as Congress. And basically the military-industrial complex really wanting a war in the Middle East again. You're seeing Biden do all this stuff, making us not self-sufficient anymore, and then going back to war in Syria, trying to, I guess, stoke a war with Iran. And, there are those who believe that, once again, it's Israel that is behind this, wants us to go to war with Iran on their behalf. And that's not what Donald Trump is about. As we saw, he didn't start any new wars. Like the first president, maybe in my lifetime. So
I believe so. Yep.
So, and then that's what they do. This is what they do. This is what these banksters do. They pit us against each other and war profiteer. They always win. Okay. And
That's right.
That's kind of the thing.
As the saying goes over these years, they fund both sides of each war and reap the profits at the expense of lots of destruction and death and horror, because war is horror. And thank goodness under President Trump, to your point, Alexandra, not only did he not start wars, he started ending wars, and he started bringing countries and people together that we never imagined would occur. And you know, I'm a broken record, but I've got to drive this home to everybody. What did President Trump tell us? We will never surrender. We will never give up. And he never conceded. And he spoke of a new administration coming, and he never said the Biden one. And he said, I've left behind all the pieces and things are set for powerful, the best is yet. These are all last week's statements in his farewell address.